What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Grab My Banner podcast. We are on the eve of Season 7, and we have a shitload to talk about. We're going to go ahead and go through all of the patch notes, explain what we think about each of the changes to the legends, the guns, all that new stuff, the map. We'll go through all that, get into gambling. But before we do that, let's do our raise question of the show. Don't forget, head on down to repsports.com. Use code BANNER for 15% off all Rep Sports products. Code BANNER. This week's raise question of the week. Which legend would you go to if you needed to vent some stuff out? Which legend would you go to if you needed to get some things off your chest, some things weighing you down? Who are you going to? Who are you talking to?
I would say Gibraltar, but I feel like he would just weigh it down more. So
Because he's fat.
yes.
Yeah. I see the joke you're trying to make.
I think I would go to Gibraltar. He'd be like, "It's okay, brother,"
Yeah.
and then I would feel a little bit better inside.
I mean, Octane would just probably jack you up on some shit and make you feel better too.
No,
So-
here's,
He'd be like, "You want me to stick you with some of this?"
I wrote down that Octane would he would be good to talk to, but you have to be doing something at the same time. He'd be like, yeah, I'll talk to you, but we need to go run. Or he'd be like, we need to go to the store. We need to do this. So you're constantly doing errands while trying to talk to him, and you're not going to get the best talk out of that. He's got to be moving at all times.
well, if anyone has ever faced adversity, it's Octane, who blew his own fucking legs off.
That's yeah. I guess he.
True. Very
I
true.
guess he would know.
He would probably know what pain or anything like that is like. So
I
I'm
get-
assuming, or being made fun of. You blew your own fucking legs off, dude. What the hell's wrong with you?
Most of the people on this cast are pretty bad to talk
Yeah,
to.
I feel like
except
they're
for
all
a
bad.
few.
I wrote down Watson would probably be the best. She'd probably be the number one. I wrote down Loba as the worst because I'm probably sad because of her. She's probably broke my heart or for some reason, and I'm really sad. So she's the worst to talk to.
No,
One of the
I feel like Caustic would definitely be
Oh,
the
Caustic
worst.
would
Okay,
suck.
Caustic.
No, but Caustic was my pick.
No, Caustic would. You'd be sitting there and be
You
like,
picked
you'd-
Caustic?
What? Caustic.
Why?
"No,
Listen,
You
yeah.
sadistic-
I want to hear what
listen.
you have to say.
Okay,
tell me
there's
what's
two things Caustic brings to the table. One is logic, obviously. Two is that Caustic isn't going to fucking he's not going to sugarcoat a damn thing. He might tell me what sugar's made of. Might tell me how to make sugar, but he's not going to sugarcoat it. He's going to slap me with how silly and how much of a bitch I sound like. And that's what I need most of the time, is for someone to be like, listen, you don't have anything to be fucking upset about. And Caustic, all right, he would just see right through me. Logic, and he would see right through my emotion and tell me to suck it up. And I feel like that's what I need.
Revenant would put you out of your misery.
Yeah.
Revenant would just walk. He wouldn't even acknowledge that you asked and be like, "Hey, Rev, come here real quick, man. Hey, Rev, yeah, man, some things are going on with me, and I just don't know." He's already out the door. He's gone. He's like, I don't give a
He's
fuck.
like, I don't give
I'm
a
probably
shit
already
about
dead. Yeah. I'm probably a simulacrum by that point.
So
Yeah, he might kill you just for thinking that you could do that.
That's real.
The person
Yeah.
I would go to would definitely be Mirage, because he would get me drunk enough to forget my issues.
Oh,
Yeah, for
Mirage
sure,
would be a
for
good.
sure.
He wouldn't talk to you about it.
No,
but
he's
he
at the
would
just
cover it
definitely.
up.
No,
yeah, he'd
no.
cover
Yeah,
it up.
push
He
it down.
he would he'd help you just suppress, and if you get to know me, that is what I do better than anything, is just continue to suppress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
This
feel
just got
like
really
I
dark.
feel like I feel like Lifeline would just slap you and be like, "Quit your whinging." Just fucking
Sometimes
shut
I
the
need
fuck
that.
up.
Sometimes I need that.
That's
though.
why I feel like Caustic is the most guaranteed to be. Like you said, Revenant's
I-
just going to kill me. You can't have a conversation with Revenant. And like I said, Pathfinder, he's on another planet. I don't feel like you could have a meaningful conversation with Pathfinder. But out of the reasonable characters you could have a conversation with, Caustic's going to be the most analytical and straightforward, and that's exactly what I need. I don't need Watson to be crying tears for me.
I
All
might
right?
go to
I don't
Loba.
need that.
Honestly, Horizon might be the same thing as Caustic with just a tad more love.
Or experience, like the
Because
mother.
she's a scientist as well, so she's smart and she
Bro.
can see through the logic. But she would also give you the love because she has the motherly love.
I'm not saying she can't be logical, but there's nothing about what I've seen from her in the animated videos, in the previews, that makes me think that she wouldn't be one of the most compassionate, sweet people. That's
think-
not what I don't need that. I need someone to cut through me.
I think I'd go to Pathfinder just because he would just tell me, "It's okay, friend. It's all right." And I would feel 100%
drinking
better.
Jaeger.
Tell me,
straight out
drinking
of the
Jaeger.
bottle.
tell me I'm wrong when I say Wraith would somehow turn it into talking about herself.
Yes,
Yes,
100%.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
She'd be like, "I'm blind
wait-
as fuck."
But listen, if you're going to Wraith,
I can
it's
see
not for help. It's because she's going to throw it back on you. I might
Or
go to
listen.
Loba, purely because I know she would cut me down, make me feel like shit, but then I get to watch her walk away, and it would make me feel a lot better.
What is wrong with you? You just want to
Brian
be
just
cut
likes the
down.
punishment.
Everything Brian has said has made me feel a little sad.
Yeah, me too.
Brian,
Listen, the whole point wasn't the cutting down, because at the end of the day, it's Loba. I expect that, and I don't give a
Well-
shit. But I get to watch her walk away.
that makes sense, and that's what I was going to write that down at first when I thought about Loba, but then I was like, no, Loba's 100% the reason I'm sad.
But as soon as
She's the reason.
she makes you sad, that's the whole thing. She made you sad, but as soon as she's done and walks away, you're happy.
You hate to see her go, but love to watch her
her
leave. I'm going to lock in my final answer. I'm going with Watson. I'm talking to Watson.
I'm actually gonna go with Octane because I could use a run while I talk to him, and I think he'd be pretty good.
That's a great point.
Mirage. Definitely Mirage.
Actually, fuck, I might want to
Mirage
change
is pretty
mine.
Mirage
Dude,
sounds
listen,
really
with the
fun
Mirage, not only
to
do you
be
get
around.
Mirage, you get all of Mirage's other selves, and you get a bar.
Dude, and here's the thing: when I'm down, I like to forget about it and like think about it the next day. So
Exactly. Let me get it off my mind, mull
Yeah.
it over, and I'll address it later. Tomorrow. Procrastinate. Everything's tomorrow.
yeah, I have
Even
not
when
yet
tomorrow
begun
comes,
to
it's still
procrastinate.
tomorrow.
Troy, who you going with? You're
I'm
going
sticking-
sticking with
I'm
Caustic.
sticking with Caustic, bro. I think that's what I need.
You are weird.
I know that's a little
Why
masochistic.
did I get the weird shit when
But
he
it's not as
picked Caustic?
masochistic as Brian saying that he wants to have Loba just so she could knock him down a peg.
It's not knocking me
Mine
down
at
a peg.
least makes
Listen,
sense.
listen. I was emphasizing on what Wyatt said, where he was going, Loba's probably the reason you're sad. Yeah, she is. But once she goes and makes me sad, I'm going to love it when she walks away.
The opposite of being sad is Season 7 is on the horizon. By this time tomorrow when you guys are listening to the show, Season 7 should be just about out. So let's
We're
get
24
in.
hours away as we record this. so-
Hell yeah, and let's get right into those patch notes. So we're gonna mix them up a little bit. We're not gonna go all the way through. We're gonna start with what we believe is the most important here, and we're gonna start with the legend changes. So first one on the list here is Bangalore. Her Rolling Thunder reduced its time for explosion from 8 seconds to 6 seconds, and that's it. That's all.
It's horseshit.
Well,
I mean-
let's pose this question first.
It's better than nothing.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
is it better? Yeah. Is it good?
No.
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 No,
What you did was you took the wait time for like when you go to the DMV and you moved it down just slightly to when you go through a Sonic drive-through. Both still take a very long time, and you're frustrated by the end of it, especially if you're playing Bangalore because you're like, damn, I wish I could have gotten some damage with that, but you're not going to be able to do
Yeah, you're just sitting there, man, I should have played Jib.
Yeah,
I
pretty
okay,
much.
Like,
this-
and that's the whole point of, that's the whole thing with her, is you could just play Gibraltar.
also
Yeah,
like
that'd be good.
because the smoke suck so much now that Bloodhound can scan and like see you through the smoke all the time, and then when he pops his ultimate, he can scan every 4 seconds, which totally nullifies any
6.
smoke.
There's nothing about Bangalore that makes me want to play her. There's nothing about it. I mean, she feels like the white clone from Star Wars Battlefront. Like, does it have some useful things in its kit? Yeah, it does. But like, there's literally nothing about it that's fun, in my opinion. And I know there's Bangalore players out there that are super pissed right now. But you
all
can
like
suck
7 of them, dude.
Yeah.
That's-
Right.
That
Listen-
sucks for them. It's a
listen,
big blow for them on this show. today.
Bangalore, back in like I think it was like season 2 or whatever. She had back when her passive was whenever she got shot, she got a speed boost.
25%.
No, it was 40%.
Oh, it was
back
40,
in the
right.
day.
Insane.
That's
It was
when she was
absurd.
OP as fuck, and that's when she was actually in the
They
meadow.
gutted it, huh?
And then they gutted it
It's
down
like
to
10%.
20. It's like down to 20 now.
Is it 20?
Yeah, it's way lower than Octane's. Octane is now at, I think he's at 30 or 40 now.
I
Yeah.
think what they need to do is, we saw it on a Reddit a while back, was, and I think we talked about it, was changing her ultimate from a delayed explosion to a proximity mine. So
That'd
now
be
you have to
sick.
walk through a minefield, because that effectively, what her ult's used for, it's not supposed to be a Gibraltar, it's supposed to be a
zoning.
zoning tool to keep teams away or force them into you, one or the other. The proximity mine would keep them away and allow you to heal up your team, and she's more team-based at that point. I think it's a good change up, and I think it would give her the better chance to be more meta.
We've gotten a little off topic. We've kind of like spread out as of what we could change her ultimate to be and not what her ultimate is. Her ultimate just mainly got a 2-second buff, and it's still the same zoning tool that we've had since the beginning. And I think she needs a lot more to bring her into meta. I really think she needs her speed boost back, number one. And then a while back, I read this on Reddit. They said, why don't they give her the ability to see through her smokes? That would be pretty sick.
Well, can't Caustic already see through his own gas?
Actually, they get outlined.
They get outlined, yeah.
They get outlined, but his gas has a limited range.
When I first was introduced to Apex and I played her, it felt so obvious that she needs to be able to see through her own smoke. I still think that it's so necessary. Because, Caustic, you have to set the traps ahead of time. You can't throw them. But they do a ton of damage, and they slow you down. I mean, if you could see through... And the difference between, like, Caustic's traps, which do a ton of damage and slow you down but still obscure vision, and something like a thrown smoke grenade, is that, the smoke grenade is purely implemented to either get away or create an offensive opportunity, but it's so much harder to make it an offensive tool if you can't see through it yourself without one of those golden sites, the target acquisition sites.
Yeah. So let's move on. We've talked a lot about Bangalore. Let's move on to some of the other legends. Caustic, like Troy said a little bit earlier, legends no longer get a blurred vision, but they up the damage from 4 to 10 ticks to 6 to 12 ticks of damage. He doesn't get nerfed, doesn't get buffed. It's kind of just like you lose some, you gain some, and I feel like he's pretty much at the same plane he was at before.
He's at the same plane, except for he gets a little stronger in the damage area. But other than that, yeah.
I was thinking about it. My initial thought was it's a nerf. Because, the blurred vision, all that. But if the stun is still there, it's a buff. You have them stunned in a location that's going to do more damage to them than it was before.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's putting on more damage. It's a buff.
Yeah, and Caustic is starting to get some professional play. Was watching the ALGS the last few days, and he was getting played. So this could help out. We'll see what happens there. Not much to talk about with Caustic. He's pretty much been the same character all the way around. He's one of those characters where he's not going to have to get changed or reworked. Bangalore might. And the next character we're about to talk about might. Octane. Swift Mend. Doubled healing rate from 0.5 HP a second to 1 HP a second. Man, I've been waiting for Octane to get something for a long time. And by something, I mean something legitimate. And this is not legitimate. He's still in the same spot he was before. It's a little frustrating. At this point, I think it's going to have to change to where he has to get considerably reworked because his ultimate is pretty much being replaced by Horizon's tactical, and that's a little embarrassing for Octane.
This is a piss shit buff.
Yeah, it's awful.
Basically, what they wrote in the dev notes is that it used to take 200 seconds if you had no health left in order for you to heal up fully, and this is supposed to cut that in half. It's it is a piss shit buff, but it's something at least in the direction that Octane wants.
This is not even in the right direction for this. What are you talking about?
Well, what would you like to see?
I want to see his ultimate and his ability flipped. I would like to see his ability or his ultimate turn into his ability, so his bounce pad turn into his tactical ability.
No.
And have it on a long cooldown. It's not more powerful than a grapple.
Yeah.
Right? So have it on a grapple-like cooldown. That's fine. Horizon already has something similar. And Pathfinder has something similar. This is one for the team that can last for a while. Maybe you only let 3 bounces go off of it. Maybe only 3 people can use it before it breaks or some shit. Fine. But have his stim become his ultimate and have it be dropped on the ground and have your entire team be able to pick it up for a fight like a rev push. Something along those lines. I think that would be a much better team-oriented player now, because now Octane, all he does is help himself.
Yeah, I get it, but it's his ethos.
That's
his entire ethos. Almost every other character has a team oriented ultimate where you can use it in coordination with your team. It's very easy to conceptualize how you would do that. Octane is a solo character. It says it right in the dev notes that he doesn't have a great win rate in trios, but he has a fantastic win rate, or it said a good win rate, a healthy win rate in the ability to score knockdowns in one-on-one fights. He's a fun one-on-one, in-your-face character, and if you take away his ability to use stims whenever he wants, he turns into something else.
Yeah.
And you cannot do that. As much as it would make sense in the balance of the game, it doesn't make sense in being able to have unique characters that all have a personality to take into consideration. It can't just be pure play practicality, because there's a lore and there's a background to this, to the Apex universe, that you have to respect.
The other buff that I've seen a lot of people talk about is whenever you jump off a Octane jump pad, you get a brief speed boost after you hit the ground. And that, I thought, was a good enough buff, because if you could get an Octane speed boost after hitting a jump pad, then you could possibly use it to win more fights or get into a better position or escape.
What if you made it so that when you hit the jump pad, you instantly had, not like, let's say you had a shield, like, let's say you had the full red Evo, right? So you have 5 bars. Even if you had it all the way full, let's say that you get another either half bar of shield or full bar of shield just from hitting that jump pad. So that you're protected in the air, and if you're doing it as a surprise offensive, you get an inherent advantage.
And that would let you escape and or push in for an attack without...
And it'd have to be tuned how much it was, but that gives you a very special advantage, because being in the air isn't as much of a disadvantage, and it gives the entire team an advantage when they land.
Yes, I would agree that would be something
like that.
useful. Yeah.
We could talk about, what needs to happen with Octane all day, but at the end of the day, when we get back to the patch notes and how he's going to be at least until the split in Season 7, this wasn't that much of a buff.
Shit buff.
It was, it's a buff, but not much of anything at all.
The only thing right now that can make Octane better would be the map that we're going into.
Yes.
Is if his bounce pad becomes that much more useful in the map, getting it back that quickly. That's really the best thing that he can have.
After everything that I've seen, I would really say that, as sad as it is to say, because I love Octane, I would say that Horizon is basically the same thing as Octane, only much, much better. She has an ultimate that's more impactful. She has an ability that does the same thing as Octane's jump pad, and she has a static ability that really helps herself. And I think that is just all around. She's just a much better team-oriented character if you want to play somebody like Octane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to Watson. Her perimeter security increased damage per touch 10 to 15. Not much. Really what you're hoping.
That's irrelevant.
I love this dev note, though. Did you guys read this dev note?
Yes.
It's so right. It was essentially saying that Watson almost never gets picked under plat. Because lower tier players don't know how to coordinate to make her useful, but then above plat, it's like she's almost indispensable.
Yeah.
And so they essentially just tried to give her a little bit of a buff for, base damage, which would be the dumbest case where you have someone actually running into your fence, so that it makes it more appealing for lower tier players. Do I think it's going to make a big impact? Absolutely not. But I like the fact that they're cool. Like they said, they're cool with her being in that high level niche. I think that it's exciting, like, to have a character where you have to have a good team to make her useful. Like, I feel like that's pretty rewarding. I like that they're not trying to make her like something she's not.
Yeah.
Watson is one of the few characters in this game that does not need a buff and does not need a nerf.
She can stay where she's at.
You could probably try to say that she needs a nerf because of how dominant she is, but that's not her being dominant. That's the team's playing her being dominant. She's only as good as the team is.
Exactly. If she was that dominant, you'd see her at every level.
Well, she's dominant, but like only in pro play.
Exactly.
Not independently.
Yes.
No.
She is only as good as your team is.
Yes.
If your team is great, she is great. If your team is not great, well, if your team is bad, she fucking sucks. Unless you are at a level where you can coordinate with each other, you know what you're doing, you know your rotations, where you want to go, Watson is not a good pick. But when you do that, she is the best pick in the game.
Yeah, so some other smaller legend buffs and nerfs. So Mirage, Psych Out, Life of the Party decoys now have 45 health. That's going to make things a little more interesting for Mirage. I think he's never going to see pro play, but at least you can see him in a maybe low gold, high plat environment.
I think you guys are kind of dumbing this down because I think that you guys are going to fall a lot more for these stupid decoys than ever before. You're going to shoot these things, and I mean, R301 does 16 damage a bullet, brother. You're going to be unloading part of your clip into it, and then you're going to be like, oh, fuck, I just wasted all these bullets on a dumbass decoy.
And that's where it really becomes big for people who play Mirage. It's going to become important when it comes to reloading time. Because a lot of people reload, and during that reload time, if you're a Mirage and you can take advantage of that, then it becomes a big
We're
buff.
taking some of those charged up Sentinel bullets.
Mirage finally became an offensive character, I'll say that. Because he has not been. He's just been a character that runs away and tries to get poke damage the entire time.
Yes.
But that being said, no, I don't think it's that great. The biggest issue is still the fact that if you understand how Apex works, you know that when a Mirage pops the Rolt, it's typically because
they're hurt.
They're hurt. And where do you want to go when they're hurt? They try to get away.
Mm-hmm.
That's the smart move to make 99% of the time. But you expect that. So you know, it's like, what direction would I run if I was a Mirage? Okay, well, I know where you're going. I'm pretty sure I've narrowed it down to 2 people. Which one the right one is, 50-50. I'll take those chances against a Mirage that's already hurt.
Yeah, that's true. You're not wrong. I mean, I don't think it's going to push him over the edge or anything, but I do think it's great.
I think he's going to be grades. Like, I think he's going to be a C grade at best.
Yeah, I feel that.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to go on to Loba.
Okay, yeah. And then Loba, moving on to Loba, the black market ammo taken no longer counts towards the black market's
That's
maximum. You can scoop up all the ammo in range. This is the type of buff.
I think that's really good.
Yeah, this is the type of buff that Loba needed because that's the most frustrating part about her black market is like, dude, I really need ammo. There's all these cool attachments out here, but I'm not going to be able to use those attachments
if I don't have
fucking ammo.
Yeah.
So this is cool. This is a cool buff. I like this.
I think it's good. I really think she needs changes to her teleport in order to push her over the edge, but this is definitely a buff in the right direction of she's supposed to be the loot character. So in the way of the loot character, 100%, this is the buff that she needed.
On to Rampart. Sheila now takes 1.525 seconds to fully spin up, down from 2, and Amped Wall now takes 3 seconds to build instead of 4. This was much needed for
that's
Rampart.
Honestly, really fucking big.
Yeah, because her
almost
shield was so easy.
It's making the Fortnite players a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
the transitional Fortnite players.
But honestly, that Sheila buff, that's almost a 50% ramp up speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty big difference, actually, especially on the back of one of those
on
vehicles?
one of the cars.
Yeah, and that's where this can become huge because we don't know anything about the map. We know, but we haven't touched the map yet. We haven't touched Tridents yet, so we don't know how big this is going to be. But this could prove to be a very big buff.
Well, the thing that I was thinking about is you slap one of these Rampart turrets on the back of a Trident, and you're shooting at another Trident. It's split up between each of you individually, you know. And if you're just unloading into that Trident, it's not going to take much time in order for them to just totally get melted. Unless you have like a jib or something to cover yourself with, you're going to get destroyed by somebody else if they have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so now let's get into what I believe is the biggest buff on the entire ballot here. We're moving over to your favorite friendly robot, Pathfinder. Now, took a little bit of a nerf, if you can even call it that. Troy mentioned this earlier. Pathfinder's hitbox is now a little bit bigger, but if you look at the picture, you got to pull out a fucking magnifying glass to find out where that hitbox got bigger. And the only place that I can see it is a little bit on the lower chest right before his robot dick. So there's that. Other than that, not really a nerf. Really not a nerf.
I think they made his head a little bit bigger, and they made his shoulders a little bit bigger, and that's pretty much it.
Well, I think it's hard. Yeah, first of all, 100% agree. They made him thicker from front to back when you're looking at him from the side, and then they definitely made, like Kyle said, shoulders, hands, and ass definitely a little bit bigger. But I think it's hard for me to accept that you would say that they gave him the biggest buff, when I think that relative to the impact it has on play and like how much characters are going to get selected, I think Loba got the biggest buff.
She might have for a character selection she could have, but
no.
No, he's right because Pathfinder was already getting picked a lot.
Yes.
Pathfinder was getting picked a lot, yes, but I think we're underestimating. It's not how much he's going to get picked; it's how much he's wanted to be picked. Because you might have a Pathfinder in every game, but now you're going to want to have two people who want Path in every game.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? Like only one can get in, obviously, but you might see two Pathfinders in one game, and
Trying to be.
yeah.
And then let's get on to the grappling hook. I'll just read the patch notes for this because I want you guys to hear what they had to say. We're making a number of changes to grappling hook. In 6.1, we shipped a very conservative version of this change. Now that we know that this didn't meaningfully affect his win rate or, anecdotally, how frustrating it is to fight him, we're shipping the much more aggressive version of the change list. We also want to make it clear that players should not be punished for chaining grappling hook perfectly into other movement mechanics. That's good. Good skill.
Thank you.
Good skill. Pathfinder no longer needs to be on the ground for the grappling hook to be considered finished. The speed to which Pathfinder needs to drop for us to consider grappling hook finished was increased from 300 units a second to 500 units a second. The maximum cooldown grapple can be set to be lowered to 30 seconds from 35. The maximum amount of time traveled before the new cooldown is set now at 5 seconds rather than being uncapped. This means that effectively you can never incur more than a 35-second cooldown. The amount of distance you can travel before you hit the maximum cooldown was roughly doubled. So if you really want to hear the full opinion on this, and we're still going to talk about it, just go back like 2 episodes when Bryce Stradamus literally predicted this exact shit that needed to happen for Pathfinder to be good again.
Right.
Yes.
Everything Brian said was like exactly what they did.
Yes.
Bryce Stradamus.
Bryce Stradamus, 100%.
I really didn't understand that reference until you explained it to me because I don't follow. What is he even, like a philosopher?
He was a philosopher back in the 1500s, Nostradamus, but he's predicted like a handful of events that have happened in our lifetime. And he could have just been a crazy kook who just fucking said whatever, but
he predicted some shit. So,
he predicted some shit.
Bryce Stradamus, that's what you are now.
Either way, this is huge for Pathfinder. I was getting into Pathfinder already, and now I can see myself really committing to it and learning the character. I don't feel like this was, it's clearly a buff, but I feel like this is where he should have been, especially with how each character has kind of consistently gotten better over time. This helps.
It
helps a ton.
Yeah, it wasn't the fact that this was a buff. It was the fact that this undid the nerf that happened to him. Mm-hmm. It turned it into because last time they tried to say it was a buff, and it was really a nerf disguised as a buff. But this was...
They didn't know.
I mean,
you could have gone either way.
You could have easily looked at it, and a lot of players that actually played the game frequently looked at it and said, no, this is actually not a good mechanic, not the way they had it set. But now that they've adjusted it to the times that it should be, it gets a lot better. Now he's in a position that he should be and not a position where he's worse.
It's impossible for it to be worse. And I honestly think that the biggest one, aside from making it so that no matter what happens, it can't go over a 35-second cooldown, because we were talking about how the sliding really affected that and made it so that you could exceed what it even was before. So that was really good. But also... the very last point, the amount of distance you can travel before you hit maximum cooldown was roughly doubled. That's insane. I mean, that is insane. I can only imagine how much you're going to be able to take advantage of that for short grapples,
especially on this new map.
The 3 to 500 is huge. That's a 30%
increase.
A 30% increase on the speed that you can have before it.
Before it ends the grapple, and it starts recharging.
And you don't have to touch the ground for the grapple to stop.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things where if you are really good at Pathfinder, the elite level of Pathfinder, you're going to be able to manage that grapple and use it to where instead of flinging yourself on your grapple, you can detach your grapple and keep the momentum going. You're going to start your cooldowns a lot quicker and possibly have your grapple back up by the time you finish your slide momentum.
Right, and you're going to be able to gauge like how much horizontal versus vertical you do it so that you can get below that 500 units per second mark and start recharging before you even touch the ground.
This is one of those changes my biggest issue with the last one is made it too easy for newer players and worse players to be better and punished good players.
Yeah.
This benefits new players and worse players while also making the elite level players that much better.
I agree.
And once again, I say this every episode. This is what it mainly comes down to with me. Content creation. Pathfinder is one of the most fun to watch characters in this entire game. He gets an opportunity now to get used a lot more in competitive play, and the clips that are going to be coming out of Pathfinder as he's grappling around on a fucking trident and flying off, hitting Kraber shots, especially when, a lot of new games are coming out, you got to give that content out there. It has to be out there. You're giving content creation. I'm happy with it. I really love Pathfinder. It's awesome. And then the last one really isn't a change to a character at all. It's just a new character. We've talked about this a lot. Horizon, she is now in the game. Her passive will be Spacewalk, increased air control, and reduce fall impacts. Tactical, the Gravity Lift, reverse flow of gravity, lifting players upward and boosting them outward when they exit. And the ultimate, the Black Hole, you deploy Newt to create a micro black hole that sucks in nearby legends. So I think she's going to be really powerful off rip. I've said this multiple times. I think she's going to be an easy must pick from anywhere from bronze to at least plat. I have to see her play a little bit more to know if she's going to go beyond that. Either way, I think she's going to be a good pick. I think she's going to be a good character to have around. Unlike the other characters that we've had recently, I think she's going to be good as she enters the game.
Yes. Anything, I think, in the new map that allows you to change your elevation, especially the elevation for your whole entire team, and that's just an ability. It's not even like an ultimate. Most of the other things that allow you to change the elevation of your entire team has always been an ultimate. So now that it's just an ability that's on a cooldown that you can just throw out there, I think that is just amazing. And then all the pros that have posted videos about getting to play Season 7 early, the Black Hole is just ridiculous. You can't play the normal Apex style of grouping up with your team anymore, because if you group up too much and they have a Horizon, they throw the Black Hole thing and stick you with an Arc Star, you are fucked. Grade A fucked. There's no way out. I've watched gameplay where there's Pathfinders that try to grapple out of the Black Hole and they can't do it. They can't get out of the Black Hole. It just sucks you in.
That's so cool.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
I love
she's going to be fun. I am excited for Horizon in this game. All right, let's move on. That's enough of the characters. That's enough about the legends. We're moving on. The Trident, the vehicles, they're coming into the game. So, what do you guys think? Trident, I'm happy for it.
I am too.
I like it. I'm curious how it works, because we read somewhere that if you shoot the Trident, the damage gets distributed amongst all three members of the team. So 1, if you go down, do you stay on the Trident? Mm-hmm. 2, what happens as far as how much of that damage actually goes to you? Is it all of it being distributed? Because as we've seen with some of the weapon buffs, and alluding to this a little later, some of them look really strong.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So hitting these, and if you have a team of these, which is not hard to do with the ammo supply that they require, 3 bullets is enough to drop pretty much that entire squad, or almost that entire squad.
Yeah.
5 bullets is enough to drop a whole squad now.
I think what Respawn is trying to do, they're we know how vehicles can be in BRs, so we're going to, like we've said, they like to do things heavy on the first try. I think they're going to have it fully distribute the damage, and then if that is too strong, then they'll probably reduce it somewhat.
Just go ahead.
Either way, I just think it's meant not for, vehicles in this game are not meant like vehicles are in other games. I think this one is literally just for
more transport.
Yeah, transport and getting rid of choke points.
That's what I'm worried about. Choke points. It's if you're trying to use this to break a choke point, I'm worried about it. If it takes damage to the actual players, and it's such a big target, and if you have a Sheila sitting on the other side of that motherfucker, I don't know if that's going to be a good pick.
Everybody's dead so fast. That's what I'm worried about.
I
too.
think
I feel like a third of the damage, because what it sounds like is it doesn't sound like if there's 2 people, then each of you will get half the damage, or if it's one, then you'll get all of it. It sounds like no matter what, each character in each slot gets a third. But even then, to have such a gigantic thing to shoot, I mean, oh man, it's got to be way too underpowered. I feel
I'm
like
also
it's gonna be a death trap.
Wondering about something because I've been thinking about it because the Arcstar thing got shown to be true. Is what about a Watson fence?
No, yeah, it's in the dev notes. The Watson fence does the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that, but that is
So wait,
Like,
Watson
it's
fence disables it?
yeah. So how are you going to push a choke
fuck.
point? You're trying to push a choke point against the best character and the highest pick character, especially at higher ranks. Lower ranks, we already said it's not that picked.
Well, you can boost and hop out.
I mean, you can boost and hop out, and you get into the choke point. You're not going to get through it.
I don't see the devs using or posturing the vehicle to be a good strategy for choke points. I never thought that.
I don't know if it's going to. That's what I'm wondering. I'm worried it's
You're
not
just
going
gonna
to be a
have-
good choke point.
You're
We'll give
going to
it a
have to
shot, but-
use it in a different way than you're normally used to using vehicles. Like, you're going to be having to hop out of vehicles much earlier to try and have it force through maybe a choke point so that
And then
it's
you-
a
then you follow
distraction
through it.
more than like breaking it, I guess.
I-
That's how I would see that you could get around it.
Well,
But that's the only way.
The thing that I thought would be super sick was throwing. I almost said Rampart.
An Arcstar?
No, not an Arcstar. The
Caustic?
I've been so bad about the new character's
Revenant?
name too. All the characters.
Rampart.
The new character.
Rampart.
Oh,
The
no,
new
no, no,
character.
no. Horizon.
Oh,
Horizon. Yeah, I've been so bad about her name and all the characters.
Oh, so
names
wait,
lately.
you're talking about throwing a black hole on
No,
the
no,
thing?
not the black hole. She
Oh,
has
to jump it.
She has the
to
to
jump the
vehicle.
vehicle.
You're
Yes,
talking
I've
to
seen
jump
it
it.
used to actually lift the entire vehicle, and what I was thinking was driving and then having her throw it in front of you, which I saw,
Yeah.
and then jumping the entire vehicle over a team block.
That would be sick.
That
It would
as
be
fuck.
super sick, but
so
the problem
sick.
is at a third of damage, even the time that you're in the air, if you have two people shooting you with normal weapons, all of you are dead. All three of you are dead.
I don't know.
I really think that. Unless you
Kai-
have like really massive
Listen,
armor.
If you're thinking about it, an R301 has a 16 bullet mag or whatever,
18.
and 18 bullet mag.
18.
Yeah.
18 bullet mag does 16 damage a bullet, and so in a third, I mean, I don't know how much that's pumping out, but I don't think it's that much.
Bro,
But
all
it's
the
not-
DPSs are like,
You
I mean,
only-
what, like 150, 180, all that up there towards that. That's per second.
Yeah.
That's per second. You know, like that's scary to me.
If you think that you're going to be able to maneuver that thing and take that turn that quick and get out of sight without them turning the corner behind you, and
True.
I don't think you're getting away, dude. I don't think this is going to push choke points at all.
You're going to have to get creative. These vehicles, I know some creative shit's going to come out of this.
Oh, it's going to have some amazing.
There's going to be
content,
some
and
creative
it's
stuff
great.
with this because you're going to have to really think up some strategies, and this is where the Olympus preview, which we will get to, the new LTM that's coming in, we'll get to that in a second, but essentially you drop into Olympus without any guns or anything, but this is where you can start testing and coming up with some creative shit. Like, you don't need all three of you on the car.
No, I get that.
If you have one driver and he's just trying to distract, he's going to get hit for sure. But if he hops off immediately too and just tries to distract with the vehicle, because
Right.
it's a new thing,
Gib becomes the biggest wall buster in this
yeah,
entire
you're
game.
just going to have to
Yeah.
get really creative with the Trident.
I
That's what I'm
completely
excited
agree.
for.
But I think that I'm no Bryce Stradamus, but I think that in order for this to be balanced, by the end of I'd say two patches, we're going to see this drop down to 1/6 instead of a third.
Yeah, I could see that.
I could see that too.
I would love. Two things I would love to see on this. Although part of me would also hate it. One, Mirage needs help. I would love to see him be able to clone the entire fucking car and send it through something.
would be
dope.
so
I didn't
cool.
even think about that.
Because he can already clone the
That'd
full
be
team
so
when they're
cool.
dropping
That'd be
in.
so fucking
that'd be
sick.
I'd love
sick.
that.
Second, if Caustic, remember the Caustic like sword that you used to be running around with on Gibraltar Shield? Can we throw that on the front of the fucking car and poke it into buildings?
Dude, that would be sick.
That would be sick.
That
Or
would
just
be sick.
poke that through a choke point, and it's already indestructible. What are they going to do? Like, just try to shoot it down as you're moving? No.
Yeah.
What if you knock them off the map? That might be fun as hell.
Yeah,
Just-
you're
just
going to have
drift
to
them
get
in.
creative. You're going to have to get creative with the Trident. All right, let's talk a little bit about Olympus. Lots of videos coming out. This is something that Apex did, I think, that they've never really done that was very important, because I think we all agree that this is probably the most important season for Apex. They let content creators and pro players play early and release the content of Olympus before the season dropped. Huge move by Respawn and Apex, because we've all seen videos where we've seen the map. We've seen how it works and stuff like that. Olympus,
It's gigantic.
It's big.
That is,
Really big.
dude. I just gotta say
Lots
that
of
is
portals.
that is such a ballsy move to do, because who has bigger say in this community than the content creators?
Yeah.
Not a single damn person. The devs don't. That's for sure. So when you give your product that's unreleased to the people with the biggest influence in your community who could just bash it, if they bash that content,
You're fucked.
your game will die. This is too big of a season. This game would die if every content creator came back and said, hey, this new map, this new season that's about to happen is going to be a shit show worse than the beginning of season 6.
Yes.
That will probably kill the game.
Yes.
But to say, I know that my product is so good that I'm going to let you do it. And not only will I let you do it, I'm going to let you do it live. Post it live. Show exactly what it is. And we're putting everything on the front line and saying, this is where we're at and this is what we are. And we got it. This fucking
Some
shit
fucking
nailed.
confidence.
Dude,
That's a ballsy
That's some
play.
huevos right there. You got some fat huevos.
nuts. That's some nuts.
Very, very big kudos to a small company like Respawn, who might not be as small anymore, but damn, when they started with less than 100 people in their building, that's some huevos right there, bro.
That's some huevos. Yeah.
Yep.
Have you guys seen the Rift section? I've not seen inside
that
of that.
thing is so sick.
haven't
I
seen
saw
inside
inside.
of it?
I've been making it
Dude,
a point
it's so
not to
raw.
look at too much game trailer.
I
and
saw-
gameplay. I want to have that
cool.
shock and
I
awe
love it.
moment. I want that shock.
It looks amazing.
It is so fucking cool. Unlike, there's just so
There's-
many changes.
There's
in
a
it.
fast travel system with the portals that was like so well thought out.
I feel like it's something that you'll have, like, this game is going to have so many different components to it. Everybody that plays Apex and enjoys Apex will find a place that they love to drop in this map.
Yeah.
That is what I'm hoping. You may
Yes.
not love everywhere. There might be circles and rotations that you fucking hate, and that might need a rework at some point. But as we know, Apex is not afraid to change their maps.
Not at all.
Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. We've all had opinions about that, but there's always somewhere in the map that if you enjoy Apex, the game Apex, you will find a place to love, and I have no doubt that we'll find that in Olympus. There's too many not to.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that I think is really cool is that they didn't ignore the fact they're putting in a new mechanic. Like they built the map in a lot of ways around that new mechanic. So
Dude,
to maximize it.
We should have NASCAR races inside the map with our new club when that starts up.
100%.
That'd be
100. Well, I think there's a new mode coming, and I tweeted this when the first trailer came out. There was checkpoints. There's marked checkpoints on the map, and with the Trident, I think we're going to see a mode with no guns, and it's just going to be racing. And I have
That would be dope.
That's why I also think they introduced the Trident, because we know, like we just talked about, the Trident might not be the tool we thought it would be for the BR version of the game, but for a different mode, it could be everything you asked for and more with the boost and all that. So I think that is coming, because if you look closely, there's some clues there. Now, I'm no Bryce Radamus either, so I don't have like that knowledge, but I have a feeling that something's coming.
As long as I can throw out a banana behind me, I'm going to be fucking happy.
Let's move on to the gun meta, because the gun meta,
So important.
it
has
of
shifted
things,
a lot.
lots of things are changing
Also,
with the gun
RIP
meta.
Bose. I was so excited
Dude.
for Bose.
Well,
And
don't-
it might still come,
I mean,
but like, man, dude, you're not going to give that to me after
don't-
it was leaked so hard.
I don't think it's something that I am sad about the Bows, but one of the biggest things about this launch is they have to get it right. They
Yeah.
can't fail this launch. If it's a mid-season that they put bows in and bows come out too weak or they come out too strong or there's some glitches with them, that's not as big. They have to hit this hype.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with them not
I
putting it in right
think
now.
Bows might come either next season or maybe
It could come at the split.
It
That's
could
what I'm
come at
thinking.
the
I'm thinking
split.
the
I think
split.
it'll come at
I'm thinking the
too.
split.
But I
'Cause-
wanted it so bad.
Yeah, I
That
feel
was
that.
that was something I was really excited about. But there's a lot to talk about in these buffs and nerfs.
Yep. So in the weapon meta, the R99 is back.
She's back.
And
Thank
I am
God.
so happy. A round of applause. I don't think anybody here at this table doesn't want the R99
I love it.
back. I love the R99. It is back. It is a key portion of the game. In the words of my good friend Brian in the earlier episode, he said the R99 is pivotal and it's key. It is the backbone of this game. Not the backbone, but it's like an integral part of Apex. And so to have it back in the game is perfect. Not only did they give it back to us, but they made it the legendary skin in the fucking battle pass. let's go. That's big balls again. It's like,
That is
hey,
big balls.
we took this gun out. Not only are we going to give it to you, we're going to give it to you and make it look fucking dope too.
It
That-
looks
that's a
so
hey.
sick.
That's a hey. Look, I know we listen. We understand. We couldn't back out from what we did last season because we committed to it. But we know we took it from you. Here's your toy back. Not only here's your toy, but we also gave it a new paint job and made it shiny, brand new, just like you
Exactly.
wanted it.
Exactly.
We upgraded you.
It'd be like if somebody wrecked your car and then you were like you went to the shop expecting to get your good old GMC Sonoma back, and all of a sudden there's just a Corvette just chilling. They're like, oh yeah, this is yours. We feel bad about what happened. Here, take this. That's what happened.
But then they go along with that and say, oh, but it's a V6 because we took the Prowler away.
Went from a
Trash.
Sonoma
What a great
to
segue.
Corvette.
What a great segue. Because what the fuck? Because the only gun that could compete with the R99 was the Prowler.
Well,
The Flatline wasn't bad. The Flatline wasn't bad.
The
It did
Flatline
damage.
sucks, Brian.
No, the Flatline does a lot of damage.
Definitely does a lot.
Flatline does a lot of damage. It just shoots at a slower fire rate.
Very
so-
slow.
Yeah.
Sonic drive-through slow fire rate.
I just don't know why you guys love the Prowler so much.
The Prowler
I
is
just don't
good.
get
Prowler
it.
has very high DPS. That's as far as a heavy weapon goes. It's one of the few weapons that can compete with the R99 at the range that the R99 plays.
I like
Okay.
the Hemlock so much more, but as we're going to see, the Hemlock cut.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah,
given a real swirl.
But that's the thing. Like, if you're going to nerf the Hemlock, the next and clear cut, the next best is the Prowler, and you remove that and put that into the big crate, like the big box. Like, no, don't do that. Give us that. Give us both the R99. And I know we're asking for a lot of. Now we're getting nitpicky. I feel like because we finally got our R99 back. We've been wanting forever.
Give me the PK.
Okay. Yes, we've been saying that one too. But we're like, don't
Give me
take.
the fucking
They
PK.
gave us the R99, and it's like, yeah, here you can have a V6 Corvette. Why do you want a V6?
I'll take it, but
Well, yes,
yeah.
you're not going to turn it down. It's like, yes, we're happier. Thank you. But don't take away the heavy gun that can combat the light gun. We've already seen what happens when light guns get too strong, is they run rampant.
Yes.
The Prowler is one of the few guns at the end of the game that you can consistently trust to put out consistent damage at close range with fast movement speed while aiming down sight.
Well, I mean, now, see, what I was really looking forward to with the R99 coming back was we'd see this meta where it would be Bolt, the R99, and the Prowler all together. Because, you know, all three of those can compete with each other. And so being able to have a meta where all three of them are on the ground, I think that would be phenomenal. Not only for, like, ammo to be distributed, but also, like, just to see them compete.
Yeah, and to add to your point, because what we're going to see in the rest of these notes is how much better snipers got. It would be interesting.
L-Star.
Yeah, and the L-Star. It'd be interesting to have that meta where you have those really good close-up guns and those really good distance guns, and you have to really decide there. Or it could be a mixture of the both, and that'd be really fun too.
Well,
so.
Yeah.
You already know where I stand on that, and what
Yeah.
I think is going to end up being.
It's
the meta.
gonna be weird. It's gonna be a weird season, or a weird first 2 weeks of the season for sure when we start figuring this out. Let's move on to the Hemlock because we talked about its nerves.
All right.
There's a lot of them. There's increased horizontal recoil for the first 3 shots, slightly to the right. First burst when in burst mode.
What is considered the first burst? How long do you have between bursts for it to be considered? If you have a fucking slow trigger finger, or you're trying to hit someone with a burst from long range, which, by the way, you should not be doing.
That's a good point.
But if
Brian.
you do, like, how long is that first burst? How
Right.
often is it gonna take off to the right randomly? And is it going to be enough time to where you have to just slightly readjust because you are shooting at Bangler or Octane and they stemmed or they had the speed boost or something?
And how bad is it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That being said, recoil is recoil. Good players will learn how to control recoil. The
Yeah,
bigger
CS:GO
nerf,
is evidence of that.
the bigger nerf is to the headshot damage that's on there.
Yeah, and that headshot damage was
Seriously
reducing the headshot multiplier from 2 to 1.75. That damage is from 44 to 39 against headshot with no helmet. Also, there was some other recoil stuff. Like Brian said, you can adjust for recoil, but the headshot multiplier, that's a big blow. That's a punch to the gut. The Havoc, moving on to the next gun here, the Havoc has an updated recoil pattern, and literally in the notes it says kicks up, then right, then left, then up again.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
So basically, you're just pulling down a lot and then adjusting to left or right depending on where it's at.
No,
it's still a
no.
good gun. You just have recoil.
I'm just going to hip fire the motherfucker.
Yeah, and the L-Star has a lot going for it here. L-Star has a new recoil pattern that kicks horizontally at first and settles into a relatively consistent upward recoil. Players who feather the trigger, hint, hint, will be able to keep the L-Star in the good portion of the recoil pattern. The L-Star venting time after letting go of the trigger has been reduced drastically, 0.4 to 0.15. The L-Star will now reduce heat faster when not overheated, 1.5 seconds from 99.9% to 0% charge if not overheated. Still 2.45 seconds if overheated.
That's really good.
And that really helps out the
That's
L-Star.
really good.
Yeah, if you're playing Rampart, I mean, that just gets extended so much further and is so much better. And so, I mean, the L-Star is just getting huge buffs.
Mm-hmm.
And this makes me happy because, like, honestly, I want them to put the Devotion back into the fucking box. So I really think this pushes the L-Star as the best, like, energy weapon LMG. And so I think they can put the Devotion back in the box.
Yeah, so the L-Star gets that buff there. It feels like they've been buffing the L-Star for a while now, and it still hasn't gotten to that point. But with the recent nerfs to the Devotion at the season split, the Devotion felt a lot more balanced. It wasn't pissing me off like it was when it first came back.
No,
so it feels balanced. So the L-Star could actually contend. This could, that's a good 1-2 battle right there between those two. Moving on to the Sentinel, the Energized Sentinel now has pure damage increase instead of bonus damage only versus shields. Energized
so
Sentinel base damage goes from 70 to fucking 88.
God, that's so good. Compounded with Rampart's new buff with the lowered time that it takes to put up her like added damage bonus shield thing that she has going on. I can't wait to see the Sentinel being used.
Oh, I totally forgot about that shit.
It's so, I mean, now you got that in 3 seconds, and you can throw that thing up and then shoot a charged Sentinel through it and guarantee that you're going to get that damage regardless of where the other person's
I'm
shield's
pretty
at.
sure that with that added damage, I'm pretty sure if you hit a body shot, I'm sure that's 100 damage.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
100%.
Sentinel is going to be one of the best guns in this game, and this is where I think the meta is heading, and why I think it's going to be a sniper meta. Is the Sentinel is, yeah, I think
You're
it's
going to be carrying shield cells like ammo.
Yeah.
pretty much.
definitely 100%.
You carry shield cells like ammo, and you're going to be popping those things nonstop. Not even to heal. It's because if you're not going to be able to heal too much, you're going to run with a Sentinel. Would you rather have? We said it before. Would you rather have a Mastiff or a Wingman? Up close,
Wingman.
right? It's
Especially
more
now
consistent. You hit better. The Mastiff is inconsistent even at its best days.
I think that really just reflects that.
And-
me especially, but God, the
Dude.
pros always prefer the Mastiff.
I was going to
over
say pros are
so I
listening
think
to us
that
right
means that
now,
we
and
suck.
yeah, I think we suck, guys.
Okay. Well, no,
Definitely suck.
okay, listen. The Mastiff hits hard and it can hit well, but for mass majority of the players, you find them hitting for 60. This Sentinel is going to hit for 88 no matter what. If you have a good enough aim to hit them, it's going to hit for 88. Doesn't matter the range. Keep that thing fucking charged up, and it's going to be more consistent than your Wingman, more consistent than your Mastiff. And if it is your secondary gun, you're going to fucking tear people down and really wreck them.
The thing that
And it's good long.
Yeah, the thing that I find that is the most craziest thing is that the charge shot does 88 damage. If you shoot them in the head, the sniper has a 2 times multiplier. That puts you at 176 damage if you shoot somebody ahead with the charged Sentinel rifle. Which means that if you have anything below, or anything blue armor or below, you are instantly downed.
That's so. It's really good. It's
That's-
really good.
and-
It's exciting though. I love skill guns. I love anything that's like single shot or that's hard to aim. I like rewarding players for being good.
Well, the Sentinel is now the first sniper rifle that instantly downs people when you shoot them in the head.
Other than the Kraber, right?
Other
Other
than
than
Kraber.
Kraber's a kill.
Kraber's an instant kill, dude. You
No
are
matter,
fucked.
no matter who you are, no matter what character you play, no matter how much health you have, if you get hit in the head with a Kraber, you're done.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you hear a Kraber pop off in the distance, hide.
Yes.
Awesome. Super awesome. Do you guys have anything else to say about that?
I mean,
it's obviously great.
yes, the Sentinel.
Yeah.
Sentinel's going to be great. I do know there's a triple take nerf.
They took it back.
Yeah,
Fire
and
rate
which-
is going
it's
back.
So it's slightly lower.
It's going back down.
Back to what it was before the 6.0 patch, from
It's-
1.3 per second to 1.2.
It's still going to rival the Sentinel. What's going to happen now is the Sentinel is now going to rival the triple take for the best sniper.
Yes.
That's what happened. Outside of that, we have the new hop ups.
Yeah,
Which
new hop-ups are looking really cool.
I'm not too excited about it, but I think they're
I'm pumped.
interesting.
I'm
you-
fucking pumped.
Can I see that real fast? I want to see the actual reading on this hop up. So it says, when equipped, the gun becomes quicker to raise and lower. Takes less time ADS and has a reduced hipfire spread. Okay, so that doesn't make sense to me. And the reason I understand what it's doing, but I don't understand why they put those two together. Takes less time to aim down the sight. Okay, cool. But you reduce the hipfire spread. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to ADS or do you want me to hipfire?
It's just making it good.
So basically, the notes say is it should make for better opportunities in close quarters combat.
Okay. The other part is it has reduced hipfire spread, particularly when not actively moving. That's why you hipfire, is so you can actively move back and forth.
Yes,
Why would you, if you're not moving, ADS?
true.
That's why the ADS part of this just doesn't make sense. The quick draw, the actual like raise and lower, making less time, I understand that. They want to make it more of a long range ADS type deal, but like the hipfire part of it doesn't do as much.
Well,
You know what this would make a lot of sense for? A 30-30 lever action.
that it would. So, another thing that I'm thinking
I'm
about
just saying.
is
Well, that I'll elaborate on that lever action. One, let's get that fucking thing in here already.
Yeah, let's get it in.
Two, why is it that I really just want to use Ash with that? I never really got to play Ash much in Overwatch, and I would love to have a lever action there, but that's besides the point. A quick draw lever action would make a lot of sense. ADS, that would help there. But if we were putting this on the RE40, I get the RE45. The Wingman makes no sense for this.
Yeah, because you got the skull piercer.
well, let me say my piece. Aim assist on controllers with the quick draw hop up is absolutely insane. Because if you can use it on a wingman, and you just quickly aiming in at somebody, and then you just pull up a little bit, you're basically shooting them in the head every time. So if you can just quickly do that, I mean, even though higher skilled players probably do that on their own, but I mean, anything that helps you move faster and aim faster while doing that is just, I think, is going to be insane.
Yes.
Rather have disruptors.
Yeah. No.
Get out of here,
Brian, don't
Shut
say
the
stuff.
fuck. Don't
Your White agreed with me at
don't
first.
bring
Because my
disruptors.
brain is like, it just
You just
like,
wanna say
I
yes
just want
to
to
what I
say
say.
yes because I want to agree with you, and then I remember that you're you, and then I'm like, wait, I shouldn't do
The
that.
thing that I want is anvil receivers. Can I get anvil receivers back? I just want
That's called
those.
lever action with quick draw, Kyle.
Dude, get out of here. I want my anvil receivers back.
All right, moving on to some of the other miscellaneous stuff that are changing in Apex that are actually really big. Evo requirements are now increased. Level 1 is 100, up from 50. Level 2, 150, up from 125. Level 3, 300, up from 250. And level 4 is an up 750, up from 500. So an extra 250 damage. So that's huge.
They're trying to push you to crafting is what they're doing.
They're
that
pushing it really hard.
They're pushing
Yeah.
you to crafting.
They
And
want you to craft.
They also made it so that you can't. It's a 5-second waiting period before somebody can take what you crafted unless you ping it. So it's trying to prevent you from having people steal what you've crafted when it's really important for the progression of your armor.
So-
which is smart. That was a good combination.
Yeah, and this is going to make it harder for you to have red armor. It's going to make it's going to give you more incentive to go out and get damage, get kills.
Hey,
So-
and
so
sniper
that's-
meta
and
really
sniper
pushing.
meta. This adds to
So-
that sniper meta. The ring damage has also been reduced. Ring 1 is 2% per tick, which was already that was the same. But it moves up in Ring 2, 3%, which is down from 5. And then in the later rings, this is where it gets big. So Ring 3, 5%, down from 10. Ring 4, 10%, down from 20. Ring 5, 10% down from 20. Ring 6, 15% down from 25. And Ring 7, 15% down from 25. So a lot more plays out there in the Storm, out there in the Circle. I expect to see a lot of that. And I think what they did that for was a little bit for competitive, because there was a lot of times where that ring would really...
You couldn't reposition.
Yeah, it was almost impossible.
And also,
So-
you couldn't, like it says here in the patch notes, I'm glad that like they made it obvious for people that didn't know, but it makes it so that if in Ring 2 you're downed and someone picks you up, you can pop a syringe and get out of the circle instead of just instantly getting knocked.
Again, yeah,
Yeah.
and
That's
redoing
really
the whole
good.
process.
That's
yeah,
smart.
and that's a lot better.
Some other little things here. Clubs, not really little, but not as big as some of the other stuff. I'm really excited for clubs. Don't forget, I've been talking to some people in the comments on our TikTok about our club. We're going to have a club, and there's a lot of people I already know who are joining in that shit. Don't be afraid to ask if you can hop in that club, because as many people as we can have, man.
I mean, you got to box me for it, but yeah.
You got to box Brian, though.
Yeah, you got a box, Brian.
Yeah, and I will upgrade you to captain, if you can beat me in a 1v1 Mozambique battle,
Well,
which you won't be able to do.
I don't know about that. Let's not give all that power to everyone right out the way.
You think they're going to beat me in a 1v1
I mean,
Mozambique
I
battle?
beat you in a 1v1
Yeah.
Mozambique battle.
No, you won't.
I have.
That's so
I have
stupid.
done it. B does not
Has
have
that
a
happened?
B does not have a
Has
winning.
that happened? B? Has that happened?
Yes, he does.
No.
He actually does not have a winning record against me in the firing range.
Do you not have a winning record?
He doesn't.
in the fire range.
No, because Brian,
Oh, dude.
Oh, dude,
See?
bad. Dude. You're going to make someone else the captain when Brian can kick your ass?
no.
Bro, that's not a good
Wait.
choice.
Did you guys
That's a
think I
bad-
said no? I have a losing record of Brian in the
just
firing
did.
range.
Yes, you just did.
You
No,
just- you
I
just
don't have a
flip
losing
that.
record
Bro,
of Brian in the
you
firing
pretty-
range.
No, you just you realize what you said.
Now
and
you're
trying-
No, I
backpedaling.
said no. You guys said, do you have a losing record of Brian in the firing range? I said no.
Oh man, are we gonna have to post this live? Your humiliation.
I just said no.
All right. So you're saying that you haven't
This
lost
is what Brian's
Brian,
talking about.
right.
One day, me and Brian were messing around the
It's one
firing
day. It
range.
was a few days.
No, it was one day.
Oh, we've done.
It
this a
was
couple
one
times.
day. We were in the firing range messing around, and we turned it off, and I shot him a few times with the Kraber. He shot me a few times with the Kraber. He might have shot me one more time with the Kraber
No,
while
dude,
I was messing around.
We took shotguns into that. We took assault rifles into that. We took pistols into it, back and forth consistently.
Oh, my God.
And you know what? You went down far often than I did.
What are you talking about? If anything, we did it for like 15 minutes.
Bro, you made me turn off friendly fire because you got so mad.
No, I didn't. We hopped into a game.
Okay, that last part's not true, but I still have the winning record against you.
Okay. Well, we'll have to test that then, because you got 12 kills this week in your bets.
I wonder who would
In-
win in 1v1 tournament with all three of us. We'd probably
Against each other, it's me.
Brian.
get the fuck out. You're telling me you'd beat me in a 1v1?
Yes.
Well, if you
No.
maybe if you only played 12 times, because Brian's only capable of getting 12 kills. Anything more than that,
Listen,
you might have trouble.
I was only going for battle pass challenges. I didn't care. It's the last week of the battle pass. I really wanted to hit 110, which I ran out of time to do. Thank you, Wyatt, for helping me hit the 110. But geez, just wanted to hit the battle pass.
All right, let's get into the gambling segment. One last thing before we get into it.
Yeah, okay, all right. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say Steam is now available for PC players, which is really cool because Origin kind of blows. That was all I was going
That's
to say.
right. All right, two quick things. First thing, we missed it, or just glanced over it. The Select Fire receiver is gone because the Quick Draw is there, although the Prowler you can still Select Fire. So that's the thing.
Prowler comes with Select Fire in the legendary crate.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
the difference.
another thing I was disappointed to see was that, like, in the bug fixes, I'm not even convinced it's a bug anymore, but in World's Edge, you still can't throw Loba's portal through windows, which is something that we'd talked about, and I was like, dude, you got to fix that. Like,
So you can throw it through. I figured out you can throw it through certain windows, but certain windows it just bounces right off, and you can't even get in. It just flies off, and then you just land right in front of the building.
I've seen a lot of people complaining about that, like, since before May, and they just, I don't know if that's like a mechanic that they want, but like, you can see that it's hitting open space and
Yeah.
it's bouncing out.
Well,
So I don't like
basically, what Brian brought up is you can literally throw caustic traps through windows, but you
that's
can't
silly.
throw a
That's so
Loba
silly.
teleport through windows.
that. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to add those in. I think it's time to get to the betting.
All right, let's get into gambling. Before we hit gambling, we will get a quick ad in, and we'll see you guys on the other side. All right, here we go. Gambling segment. We have our final tallies on Season 2 of the gambling segment on the show. And a lot of things have changed, but we have one thing that stayed the same.
Oh, yeah.
We have one similar champion. Troy, once again, the super producer, has won the championship. He ended with 240 bones. Kyle and Brian both tied with 170, and I had 164. In the record category, I had the best record. Kyle had 12-9. He was second. Brian 7-6, a lot better than his 9-27 last season. And Troy actually had the only negative record, even though he had the most bones, at 5-6. But Troy's our champion. Second-time championship for Troy. Does this one feel any better? Let me rephrase this question. Out of your two championships, which one felt better?
All right, before I answer your question, I just want to say that there's no prize for the two-time. I might not be the original two-time, but in this podcast, my point is that I don't have any prize here in front of me, and that's okay. I understand. I do have a new mic. I like that. It's right here in my face. But I think I deserve at least a round of applause from the three of you. Thank you. Brian looks really upset about that, but I'm rocking the mustache in honor of the other two-time, who I will not mention by name. But I'm pretty sure most of you know who I'm talking about. And I really feel like I'm channeling his energy in my victory, in the second consecutive victory in 2 seasons. So yes, this one feels a lot better.
You're talking about the two-time back-to-back Blockbuster video game champion, 93-94?
That might be the one.
That's the one.
All right. Well, great job to Troy. He's won back-to-back championships, and he ended with 240 bones, which in Season 1 he had 300. Pretty insane numbers for those first 2 championships. Now, when it gets to the gambling segment, I might as well explain it a little bit. Each of us play 16 games where we all bet on each other. We have lines set for our 16 games: kills, average damage, max damage, and then we have a wins bet prop. Any of the players can bet on any of those lines. They can be split into quarters and into halves, and then you go from there. Some bets pay out a little bit more. Some bets pay out 1-to-1. Either way, you bet money on those, what we call bones. You bet bones on those lines, and then you try your best to end the season with the most. So, getting into Season 7, things are going to be a little different now because we all go back into a lower rank.
Hold up. You're trying to gloss over Season 6 where you're saying
Don't
you came in.
worry about it. I'm not going to let him do that.
He
Just
came
let
in.
him keep going. No,
came in
dude,
last
let him
place.
go. Let him go. Let him go.
I came in last place by 6 bones. Brian,
Why?
Season 1.
You had the best record and came in last place because you were too afraid to bet.
You bet like a giant.
Brian,
Because he bet like
bet
a bitch.
like-
I
all
might
you had to
have
do,
been last.
all you had to do was bet bigger, and you would have easily came in first. And you
Brian,
chose not to, and you came in last.
I might have been
Guess-
in last, but in last season,
At
the
least-
person who got last had 0 bones.
At least I had cojones.
No. Dude,
I was willing to
you say you have
Listen,
cojones. I watched you fail in a blistering fire.
The two-time, okay? The grab my banner two-time actually agrees with Brian. The two-time,
I'm fine
the grab my banner two-time. I took his bones to make him be at 0 last season, but bro, this is pathetic. You've had
I'm
literally
fine.
You
2
were-
full
you were
seasons
fine with
to
mediocrity.
warm up and get
I'm
comfortable
last.
with your betting, and you still don't have enough confidence to bet more than 30 on a bet. I don't think have you ever bet more than 20 on a single bet?
No.
No.
And I'm fine
That's
with
because
it.
you are a
Troy,
giant.
looking at your
The
record,
giant.
5-6.
Dude, I bet 100%.
If your
I bet
record-
100% of my bones on the first week and lost 2 of 3 of those bets.
If you
and I still
consistently-
came back and whooped your ass. So don't you think you need to adjust your tactics a little
No,
bit?
I don't at all. I've had the best record.
Dude, we don't
You
win
should
by
be
record, though. We
embarrassed.
But
win
that's
by
what I'm
bones.
saying.
But we
Here's
don't
the
win
thing-
by record.
Here's
You
the
don't
thing
win
that
by
happens.
record.
If you have a subpar, below 50% record, eventually that's going to bite you in the ass on those bets.
But let's also,
and I'm fine with where I'm at.
I want you to understand, and I think that the people need to understand that if we were to, first of all, if we were to combine my record from last season and this season, I would be very positive. Second, we came into a new way of betting on ranked versus casual, which I had no statistics on, which is why I started off to a slow start. Okay? That's another thing you have to consider. But I also always bet with my goal in mind, which is not record, it's bones. And that's why I win in bones. So, get off of this disgustingly wimpy tactic that you have.
Okay, can I say something really quick? We're changing Wyatt's name to Captain Bitch Bets because there's no way that we can continue going
Okay, here's what I'm
like
looking
this.
at. Because, like, Troy has a point, but he's looking at it from the throne. I'm sitting here, and I have a full view of all three of you.
At the bottom.
And there's two people that I see here that do the exact same tactic. Both have very different outcomes. There's one who bets with all of his bones and has a lot of... and he wins. There's one who bets with a lot of bones and a lot of might, and he's
loses. Still above you.
It doesn't matter. You only beat me by 6 on a last-second bet. My record is fine. I'm going to keep... if I get
that was
fourth...
a hell of a lucky win, too.
if I get fourth place...
It wasn't luck. Kyle's hit his max so many times in the third. That's a safe bet at that point.
It's been maybe 3 or 4
I've been
times.
playing like dog
I think it's
shit.
maybe been 3 or 4 times, but Kyle's been playing like dog shit, and we've had... What? How many episodes is this? Is this 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, so out of 11 episodes, Kyle's hit his max, I would venture to guess 4 times, probably?
I think it's 5.
5?
I'm at 5.
And every single one has been in the third quarter.
Yes.
I mean, you know what? It's
at that point,
it's not quite a coin flip. Maybe it's a 40% chance. So that's a good bet coming from the bottom. I'm going to say that. But still, you had a lot more likelihood of missing it than you did of hitting it.
Well, honestly, it's 50-50.
Listen, when you come down to
5 of 11, yeah, it's close to that.
it's close to it. Like,
But you are not doing well right now.
No,
We have
no,
to
no,
take
no,
that
you-
into consideration.
you have to understand, from the bottom, it's if I'm trying to win it all, I'm going to take the risky bets at the end of the season. Because if I'm behind and I don't, the way you bet,
I know.
I have to take those bets, and it's going to happen.
I know.
So that being
okay?
said,
I know.
being willing to take those
I'm
risks
not
is
saying
what
that
moves
was a
me
bad-
up
I'm not saying
out of
that was
last
a bad
place.
bet, but I'm just saying that the way it made you hitting that bet made you look better than you are. I think.
I don't
In
think
this
it did.
season.
I think it was a good call at a good time.
But you know what? I at least appreciate that
'Cause-
you're not afraid to take risks. I really I can't.
all I know
can't
is
get behind you.
If
Wyatt.
I'm
I
last
can't get
up
behind you,
64,
Wyatt.
I'm fine.
Listen,
Dude, I think that we need to
last
put
up 60
more than we need to put a prize for first, because I know that I'm going to get first again, and like I really don't have a place to put another trophy. So more than just a prize for first, I think we need to put a punishment for last, so that you have some motivation to not play like a little bitch.
I'm still going to play like this. I'm fine.
What
I
made
feel
you're,
good.
dude. You're
Captain
literally
Bitch
okay.
Bets is in full force.
You're
fine.
What you're saying is you're okay with settling for third and fourth place consistently.
Both seasons, I've been positive bones.
That's fine.
Last season, Kyle wasn't
But
positive.
I-
You weren't positive. Me and Troy were the only ones positive.
That's
and then
fine.
this season, we all happen to be positive. But what I'm saying
You're saying
is
positive record.
positive bones.
Positive bones.
Last season, Kyle and
Kyle
Brian
was
did
negative?
He had negative bones last season.
I don't remember that.
But here's the thing: like we have negative bones, and we take that loss, but we still go up the next season. Like we still go up. Like
It's
I said,
only been
because we're
2
willing,
seasons.
but we're willing to make the bets to make those moves. If you bet big with your betting record, you would run the floor with us, but you don't. You're too afraid to bet big and put trust in yourself to be able to do so.
Because I like my record. I like to have a good record.
You bet the same bets. You have
Yeah.
the same record.
If you
Why
just
can't you
if
have
you just
both?
bet more
Bro,
bones
dude,
on the
it's
bets
a
that you did make,
It's a stupid fallacy to say that you can't make the identical good bets and have the same record and then just be winning in bones. Like what? There's no part
no
of what
one's-
you're doing that has to be adjusted
It's-
other than betting more.
it's not
You make
chi-
the same exact bets and just bet more.
No, I mean, I understand what you guys are saying, but Brian was like one long shot away from being deep and dead last again, and he hits it this time. I'm fine with where I'm at.
But
like,
what
I like playing.
We're not
where I'm
saying to
at.
change
Bro,
the way you're
but
betting.
you
We're
are
saying
dead
change.
last.
We're not
Yeah,
saying
maybe. Yeah, in bones,
How
but
can
I
you
feel
say
good about my
dead last
record.
to be
But
okay
listen,
with that?
what we're saying is not to change what bets you make. We're changing change how much you place on the bet.
I honestly don't see it as dead last when you have the best record.
It is dead last. You're
It
in
is
fourth
dead
place.
last,
If you're-
it's fourth place, you're dead last.
dude.
In bones,
Le-
but in my record,
Hey.
bones gets you the prize, it gets you the championship. But like my record is fine.
Hey, good job. You're the San Diego Chargers who can never win a Super Bowl.
I'm fine. I
Okay,
feel
You're
good.
okay with being the San Diego Chargers?
No,
okay,
because the San
that's good to
Diego
know.
Chargers blow leads. I've never blown a lead. It's just
Really?
like
So
I have.
what happened when this season when you got passed up? By
I was
Kyle?
never first in bones.
Why can't you just say it's a waste? Why
It's
can't you
not.
just admit
Yeah,
that
it
it's
is.
a waste
Okay,
to have
okay.
a record
He's
like
he's
that?
deflecting.
The way-
he's deflecting. What he's doing is deflecting.
No,
and he's
the
trying
way,
to get around it.
The way I
dude.
feel when I
You
play
got
this,
no junk, dude. You got no jewels.
When
There's
I
no
play-
jewels in the chest.
when I play this, I feel fine knowing I have a good record.
Okay, to be fair, he does have the best record in both seasons. He's in first place for that.
That-
In both.
I'm
he can
fine
have,
with that.
He can have the best record.
100%.
That's fine. But you're not going to make money from saving. You're not going to get rich by saving.
Definitely
It's not even that I'm necessarily saving though, because like this week I have 40 on it. That's like
That's
almost
actually good.
half.
I'm really glad.
and
about
I've done
hearing
30 the
I have
last like
100.
3 weeks. But see, like
It
that's
doesn't.
crazy.
But you don't
dude.
even
Like,
increase proportionally when you get more money.
I do.
No, you don't.
I did last season.
that. Yeah, he did.
I definitely did. I'm just not going 100 bones every single time.
It doesn't have to be 100 every single time. I didn't say it had to be, but bro, I mean, you don't. I really feel like you are uncomfortable dumping on a bet that you're really confident in, and that just like, it's sad to see.
I'm not.
It's sad
I'm
to
never
see.
when I bet. I'm never 100% comfortable in a bet. Like
You
there's
can't
only
be. I mean,
been
there's
one.
Betting, it's never going to be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I never put that much on it. The only bet I've ever been 100% positive in, and I put 25 on it, was when Kyle's max was at like 2,400, and I put 25 on it. I felt very confident about that. But I'm never going to be like.
How much did you have in the bank when you did that?
I think I had because last
It was
season
more than 100.
no, well, barely because last season I ended with 115.
Well,
so
I'm saying,
it wasn't
bro,
like a whole lot.
If you're more than, and I understand you got to think about the long game at least a little bit, but these seasons aren't that long. So if you're looking at a bet and you're more than, let's say that you're like 45% certain that you're going to hit it, that's not a great bet. Okay, that's not a great bet. But once you go above 50%, if let's say you're like 60% sure you're going to hit that bet, I think that like if you're betting 60% of your purse or 60% of your total bones on that, that's not uncalled for because it's proportionate to your confidence.
Even if you take it into a stock application, if you have a positive trend, which is what your record is a positive trend over time, that's what you're going for, saying I'm going to have a better record over the long course of time, and that's going to make me more bones in the long run. You're more able to sustain the bigger hits over time, so you're supposed to bet more over it, saying I know these bets are good, and over time, even though I'm going to lose big on some, I'm going to hit bigger on others over a course of time.
Right.
You're covering your faults. Where you lose, you're covering it with your wins, and then when you hit more wins than losses is when you take those big scores up. The way you manage that is by taking that positive trend and capitalizing on it with extra income, extra funds.
The other thing about this season too was like we have 3 weeks that we missed, and I'm confident that in those 3 weeks with my record the way it was and the way I bet, it would have been fine.
No, dude, there's a reason you're not close.
Well, there's
What
no,
do you mean?
There's a reason you're not
I'm
close.
6 behind Kyle.
He's 6 behind both
you're not
me
close
and Brian.
to me. I don't understand
Yeah.
what you're
No,
trying
no.
to be king
He's-
of the lost
Because you guys are
boys
saying
over
I'm
here.
last.
No, he's
Well,
saying
I am last.
You are last.
But I'm last by
Listen,
6 bones.
Dude, there's
It's
only
still last.
4 of us in here, man. You shouldn't be shooting for king of the lost boys. You should be shooting for king of the hill.
When I look at this, I'm like, dude,
Speaking
I've
of
done
King of the
so
Hill-
good on this show. Like, I've literally had.
What?
We're talking about that mustache and the bald and the
Oh,
King of the
yeah.
Hill.
I know.
Yep. You guys knew what I'm talking about, right? In King of the Hill?
Yeah.
Who wears the white beater? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
close.
Channeling that energy right now.
Yeah,
I can
feel
tell.
it.
What's his name? It's not Boomhauer.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know. I don't know
Anyways,
which one that is.
but I think honestly,
Should
I
know.
I see what Wyatt's saying though, because he's saying that each week he had a steady incline, and so if he keeps the steady incline, he said with the added 3 weeks, he'd probably be about where Troy is, or maybe higher.
No,
What do you
Troy
do?
would be firmly in the
Why are you
lead.
taking my bets?
Oh, I was looking for the.
You get your
the
fucking
lines.
grubby paws.
What I'm saying is, I'm not calculating this way, so like this doesn't count. But if we were to go over the whole season, like I'm clearly right there behind Troy. There's no because you guys were both negative last season,
No.
and I was
Listen,
only behind you by 6.
Here's the thing.
You don't demonstrate confidence with your play. Anybody can
I'm-
make bets with
'cause
putting nothing on it that they think is like that in their head they think are smart bets, but they're not. If you don't play like you think they're smart bets, then you're not a good bettor. Anybody can sit with nothing on the line and make good not anybody, but most people can make good choices when there's nothing on the line. But it's when you put stakes on the line, that's when it becomes hard to make good choices. And I haven't seen you do that.
Well, it's hard to make, like, this is where it gets difficult. It's like, I don't know how Kyle's going to play after these last 2 weeks. I have no fucking clue. So I can't be confident of betting Kyle, but I'm not going to put all 3 of my bets on
What
Brian.
about your gut, bro?
I mean, that's what I end up using for my bets, but
And it's
I'm
been
never
working. How much do you have to see it work before you start to put some money on it?
Because this is where I get confused. Is sometimes I want to put 10 or 5 on a certain one. Well, if I get 2 really good bets that were both 5s, and now I have a 10 that's a loss, then I'm back at square one. So if I hit them all in the same
But
thing,
the whole thing is,
and I play a bunch of bets, then I'm always winning.
But the thing is, if you're always winning, you're always going to have that positive upwards trend. And if you're willing to double down on what you're doing, you're going to carry that positive upward trend that you've been carrying, but to a higher rate.
I guess
It's not going to. You don't change the bets that you're making. You add more to the bets you're making.
Whatever, bro. 2 times not going to give you bet therapy anymore. You're a lost cause. I'm done with you.
I'm fine with
done
where I'm
with you,
at.
bro.
Once again, you guys can rattle me all you want. I feel great. I have a great record throughout the entire show. I've got good bones. I'm feeling good.
Yep.
All
I feel
right,
good.
all right, Mister. I'm feeling good. How about you start us off for your card?
Well, I got to read the lines first. So the lines for this week for me: 28 kills at total kills, with halves at 14 and quarters at 7, average damage at 600, and the max at 1800. Kyle is sitting at 25 for total kills, 600 average damage, and 1800 max. Each quarter on kills each half would be 13, and then the quarters would be 6.5. And then for Brian, the total kills is 23, average damage at 550, with the max at 1750. Halves on that would be 12.5, and then quarters on that would be 6. So, if you guys want me to start off with my card, let me find it real quick. I have my shit everywhere. So I put 1 bet on myself, second quarter over in kills for 10 bones. I've had a really good second quarter the last few weeks. Usually in the first part of the gambling segment, my first half was always god-awful, but I've really stepped it up lately. And then moving back into silver, I think my second quarter kills, I can go over that pretty easily. I have 3 bets on Brian. The third quarter average damage under for 5 bones. His first quarter kills under for 5 bones, and then his max damage under for 10 bones. Me and Brian both struggle with hitting our max, so that one, I'm confident in that one. And then for Kyle, the average damage, the third quarter over at 600, I have that at 5 bones, and that will complete my card.
Okay, so something popped in my head because we're starting a new season with this week, right? Mm-hmm. The week we're betting on right now is a new season. So we only have 100 bones currently, correct? Mm-hmm. Well, I definitely calculated mine for 170 bones in my pocket. But you know what? I made my bets. I trust my bets, and we're going to hit it. I'm going to roll all 100 bones of mine today.
Okay. Hit
Holy
the card.
shit.
So, Wyatt, I got 2 bets on you, and I swear if you fuck me for a third week in a row,
Fuck him, please.
I made it a point to say, I know you have a busy schedule the next couple of days. You just got placed back into silver because of the season reset, the new season reset. So he was in plat, went back to silver. That gives the plat players time to get out of silver because it's easy to get out of silver. So you're going to be playing against actual silver and gold players. That being said, I took over on you for average damage in the third quarter for 30 bones.
Okay.
I took over on you for max damage in the third quarter for 10 bones. Mm-hmm. I swear if you fuck me in the third quarter again.
Why, when you know that the last 2 times I played in my third quarter, I sucked? Why would you not take the easy one, which is the fourth quarter?
Because a blind squirrel finds its nut someday.
Okay. All right. Well,
Kyle.
This is what doesn't make sense to me.
Kyle. Well, my bets are irrational. Your bets are rational. We're just saying to capitalize on them.
Okay.
Kyle. I took an over on your kills third quarter, 20 bones.
Okay.
I took a over on your max damage third quarter, 20 bones. Again, you're going to be playing in fucking bronze. I expect a lot out of you. It's bronze.
I don't know if I would have made that bet.
Listen, you might hit your max twice. It's fucking bronze.
We'll see. I did play like dog shit in bronze, so.
I swear, if you play like dog shit in bronze, Do not play like dog shit. Don't make. Listen, I now have a questionable. What is that? 60 bones, 70, 80 bones on the table. I have a questionable 80 bones on the table thanks to you fuckers now.
Sorry.
The only unquestionable bet on it is the bet on myself because it's me. And I fucking always bet on myself. Is I have my average damage over in the second quarter for 20 bones.
Oh my God, Brian.
Should I say it?
Don't.
Please don't.
Please don't.
Please don't.
Just,
If you can't bet on yourself,
Oh
who the
my-
fuck you gonna bet on?
Brian, you
bitches?
had 12 kills this week.
Exactly. Set my lines low. I know I'm gonna hit the over real easy.
Oh my God.
All right, I'll go next. You know what? The thing is, all right, here's the thing: is that Brian thrives when he is at the lower levels. Kyle, for some reason, gets confused. I don't know what happens in your. You just get
Because
scrambled.
I'm playing with fucking goldfish. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah,
bro,
I mean,
all you
that
have to
doesn't
do
mean you have
is
to
just
become
be-
one. I don't get it, dude.
All
Just
they know how
be-
to do is shit and eat, and they can't.
Bro,
fucking
all you
do
have to do is
anything
be
else.
aggressive from a distance. They can't aim, and they don't know how to fucking deal with someone pushing them.
Listen, Brian understands how to beat the goldfish because Brian, in fact, is a goldfish. So I can't.
I'm at least a carp now.
All right,
He's
I'll give
upgraded.
it-
He's
all right.
evolved.
I'm
All
a
right,
big
you can have
goldfish.
that. You can have that. Not quite a Gyarados, but maybe like a level 30,
Magikarp.
Magikarp, yeah.
Goldeen, level 30 Goldeen, trying to become a
I know.
Gyarados. That doesn't work.
Okay. So I actually did bet overs on Brian for the first time in a long time.
Smart man.
I bet an over on Brian's second quarter average damage, which is the same bet that he took. I already had it written down for 25.
Holy shit.
And then I wrote an
Smart bet.
over. I wrote a 25. I did a 25 bone bet on his kills, just as an over on his total kills. That's dangerous. Seeing he
That
did
is
12
dangerous.
He did 12 kills this week. But the thing is, like I said, I like statistics, and I love that in the context of being in silver, Brian was the best we've ever seen him because I really feel like he knows these kids every move,
Dude.
Because he was just there.
But
He
here's
was
the
just
thing.
There.
Here's the thing. The last 3 times Brian's kills was 20, 18, and 12.
Uh-huh.
And you have it at 22.
Uh-huh.
And he
Yeah.
was in different ranks in all of those times.
Uh-huh.
That's what I worry about.
I wasn't
Yeah,
differing
bro,
all
well,
the time.
Brian's. Did you forget that Brian's kills is 23?
Oh, it's 23.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
That's even
No,
worse.
I'm telling you, dude. Listen, I knew that you were going to say some weak ass thing, but it's okay because I'm sitting on the throne, and there's a method to my madness.
I thought
Brian,
you were a stats guy.
I am a stats guy, and there's something called regression to the mean. Okay, and that means that when you have a bunch of really low performances, the likelihood that you're going to have an above average performance. Statistically speaking, in reality, it's all equal. But statistically speaking, when you look at it more generally, you will more likely do something that is above your average because everything tends to return to average the more iterations you have.
I
if-
can't
what
wait
if
for
the-
next week when he just sucks dog shit. And I can just rub this in
What
your
if the
face.
above average was the 20?
Maybe he's gonna hit 22. Whatever. I'm not. It's betting, so it's never.
If
gonna be
he hits
guaranteed.
22.
But I'm betting overs on Brian, serious overs on Brian for the first time in a long time, and I really think he's gonna live up to it. So, I also bet an over. This is really my pet bet. It's my favorite bet. It's the one I think I've made the most money on in both seasons. Is I'm betting on Kyle's third quarter average damage, an over.
That's
for
a good
25 bones. It honestly always feels like a good bet. Although you really have struggled in lower tiers.
Yes.
And then I bet an over for Wyatt's fourth quarter average damage of 25 bones. So I got all 100 on the field also. But out of those, 3 of those are 2-to-1s. So that's really
big.
how I play the game. Is that I do 2-to-1s way more than y'all.
Yeah.
And I throw down so that even if I miss, I'm really not hurting that bad.
Everything I did was either a 2 or 3-to-1.
Yeah, this 3-to-1s, man. I really don't see you
Yeah,
hitting that a lot.
Listen, brother, as much as I admire
that
the
you're doing it,
respect that you give me the 3-to-1, but damn.
I gave it to Wyatt, too. Yeah, I took Wyatt on the max over.
Oh, shit. All right.
He's playing in silver, and he's
Bro,
not going
why-
to play
Which
for
quarter did you pick?
third.
I've hit it
Dude,
one
what are
time.
you doing?
Oh, okay.
Listen, he's playing in silver. He said he has a busy week. All the plat players that got dropped down with him and all the gold players that are going to be down there should be through that time by the time he actually gets to play. He's going to be playing with fucking bronze and silver players. He might
Okay.
play against
That's
me, and I'll fuck his
whatever,
shit
dude.
up. But you know what? I'm going to kick myself in the face for that.
Oh, dude. All right, I'll get to reading my card. All right, so I got a grand total of 50 bones on the line. I'm not betting the whole bank, but I'm not betting not like a little bitch amount of money. So I got for Brian, I got an under on his total max damage. He's not going to hit the max damage whatsoever. 1750. I don't give a fuck if he's in iron or fucking some
Clay.
other metal. Okay, in clay.
I didn't bet his max.
Yeah, I don't think he's.
I didn't bet his max.
He's not hitting his fucking max. I told you to lower it. Anyways,
No, he actually might hit it.
I don't think he's.
I actually think he might hit it.
I don't think so. So
I've hit higher than that before.
Brian, you always have a legitimate chance. It's
I've
just
hit
like
higher
you
than-
do.
way
I'm not
smaller.
saying. I'm not saying you don't have a chance. I'm saying that I think
Listen,
it's really unlikely that you're
I've
going
hit
to.
higher than that before in harder ranks.
Yeah, it's true.
How many
You're,
times?
you're not
though?
true.
Listen,
Dude, I'm playing in fucking bronze.
Yes, but you. Okay, listen.
In a season where a bunch of new people are going to be joining.
you
Brian,
hit your max one time.
time.
Uno. Twice.
Twice.
And you've never so since we've done this show, you've never gotten out of gold. So that means you were either in bronze, silver, or gold in any of these weeks. And so gold players are going back to bronze. And even if you wait a few days, I don't know,
listen,
dude. I just don't see
I am
it.
trusting the mass influx of brand new players joining this game in season 7. I can pray on the week.
That would be good. That would be good.
Have you noticed
I
how I just
believe
begin to
that.
accept this now?
I believe that.
I mean, I'm all for new
Kyle,
players.
You can't really. How can you speak with confidence when you can't even draw a straight line?
Anyways.
I want you to show
me
Brian.
see that.
Show Brian your paper.
Kyle,
Look at how bad
Kyle,
that is.
you have a
You look like you've
what
been
is that?
drinking for
It's
3
not,
days.
It's not college ruled. What is that? Is that wide? So you have a wide ruled paper, and your line goes into 3 different lines.
Yes. I actually have. I have never been able to draw a straight line, and I can't color in between the lines.
Listen, at that point, just do this. Just do the squiggle. Just do the squiggle and block out like
the
3 lines
fucking-
on purpose.
I do my best.
You look like the brainwaves of someone with sleep apnea.
I tried to perfect them. Anyways, so then I've got 10 bones on Brian's first quarter average damage under, so he's not going to hit that shit. And then I've got 5 bones on my over for my total kills. I've got 10 bones on my over for my third quarter average damage, which I think most of us bet on. I've got 10 bones on Wyatt's average damage in the fourth quarter. And then I've got 5 bones over on Wyatt's total kills because he's going to be dropping way lower, and I think he's definitely going to crush it because when he was in the lower ranks before, he was hitting 37 and shit. So I really think he's going to be getting that. All right, and that's my total card for a total of 50 bones, and we're hoping to get good
Not a
here.
bad card. Not a bad card.
All right, so that should do it for. That's all of our cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all of our cards are out there. Season 7 starting new. Don't forget to check out those cards. You can go on Twitter and on Instagram. I put those up there every week, so you can check out those there. And don't be afraid to send in some of your bets and who you'd be betting on or whose card you would take if you were in this situation. Don't forget, too, guys, to check out repsports.com where you can get yourself some Raise Energy. Use code BANNER for 15% off. And last but not least, check out all the social medias. We've got TikTok at Grab My Banner Podcast, and then Twitter and Instagram at Grab My Banner Pod. That should just just about wrap it up for the show. I hope you guys enjoy Season 7 out there. I know we are all going to be having a good time. And don't forget to hit us up about joining that Grab My Banner Club because we're going to have that open and available. And then be on the lookout for some content. We got some fans who we're going to be playing with throughout the week. I know my man Moist T. He comments on every video, and me and him are going to have a Mozambique 1v1 coming up soon. It's going to be really fun.
It's gonna be gold.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. And then after that, me and him are going to try to get a dub with double Mozambique hammer points. So that's going to be a good time.
Bro,
So
you're going to be useless after
hey.
you lose the... Okay, so 8 p.m., if you guys didn't already know, 8 p.m. today, because this is going to be dropping on November 4th, 8 p.m. today is going to be when the season drops, and probably by 9 p.m. today, Wyatt will have already lost the captainship of our own club because he made that one-on-one challenge to anybody with Mozambique.
So captain just means you can. Captain's like 2 steps below the creator.
Really?
Yeah.
That's such a
is
misleading title. You know that?
Yeah, it is.
So, how's it go again? It goes
creator.
It's
Grunt is last, captain.
Grunt.
I forgot the third one.
It's like
admin. I think it's admin.
Is it captain then admin?
Yeah.
I thought captain was the second tier.
Whatever. I don't care.
You get promoted one above grunt. Is where you're going to go.
That's
whatever that
going.
rank is,
That's
one
from
above
grunt.
grunt.
And that was
if you can beat Wyatt in a 1v1 in Mozambique, you get above grunt. Whoever decides to take out Wyatt, thanks for taking out my lightweight,
dude. Without further ado, thanks you guys for listening to another episode of the Grab My Banner podcast. We'll catch you guys on the other side. See ya.
See ya.